Today we'll be learning how to use color and apply color to our simple plant drawings and symbols using a gradient technique and some accent colors. The tools that I use to color in a lot of the symbols that I make are Copic markers. They come in a wide variety of colors. They are on the more expensive end of things, but their saving grace is that they are refillable. So when you do use them up, you can refill them. So I have a pretty simple pack here, and I've just acquired them over time. I like to supplement some of that stuff with just like other types of markers of colors that I might not necessarily have. And in some situations, I use like a white pen, or these are like Posca pens, and these are like paint markers, and what they do is they can, basically it's like a paint, and you can use them as highlights, and you can kind of get that white pop of color on top of your drawings. Okay, let's get started with using some color on our plant symbols that we have learned in a previous video. I'm going to start with a simple gradient of greens. And I use gradients for my plants to show, a light all the way to a shadow. So you can kind of fill in your highlight. And I go a little bit past the center line. And that allows my mid-tone to kind of blend into that. And then you can follow it up with your shadow. And what that does is that gives your flat object a little bit of depth. And what I'll do is I'll go over it a couple times, and it'll help blend these colors in together. And if your shadow isn't dark enough, you can just come back with another pen. And there you go, pretty simple. As you can see here, I used a smooth technique where it's just a simple gradient. And then in this one, I used a more textural gradient. So I kind of dabbed the marker to give it a little bit of texture as you see the plant. One of the most important parts that I find about finishing up and making these look really, set them apart from just a standard one, is putting a drop shadow in behind. So when you have your gradient, right, it's implying that it's got some form to it. So some of the typical colors I use for my drop shadows are like a purple, or I have some of these grays. And it's really up to you, it depends on your style. But I bounce them back and forth between these. So I'll show maybe half with the gray and half with the purple. Now these plants now are sitting up off of the ground a little bit, and it just provides that extra layer of depth to your simple plant symbols. These drawings have lots of purposes. They're great for showing your client the plan in color, so they can get a better representation of plant selection, or maybe flowering color, or just a general better feel of what the environment is going to look like. Because if you show them a black and white plan, it could be kind of boring, or they might not see the clear vision. But if you show them like a full-on like planting plan, It really just helps spice up your presentation to the client.